What's going on, guys? Mickle here, and in this video we are going to be talking about one of the most fascinating parts about this entire Ripple SEC case, and that was the SEC's motives to bring this case in the first place. On this channel, we have talked a lot about different motives the SEC could have had for bringing this case, but in this video I want to present to you guys something new. Something we have not talked about a lot at all, but something I believe is starting to build a lot of evidence behind it, and something I believe actually played a critical part in the SEC's decision to bring this case against Ripple. For a while now, I have been under the impression that the SEC brought this case against Ripple to create a landmark case through the court in the US market. A landmark precedent-setting case that would usher in crypto regulations for the entire crypto market, regulations that are desperately needed. But the more and more I have watched this case play out, and the more I have studied the SEC's behavior through this entire thing, as well as Ripple's, the more I start to believe a completely different narrative was actually taking place behind the scenes. In this video, I'm going to show you guys what I believe to be a very large reason the SEC ultimately decided to go after Ripple, but most importantly, I'm going to show you guys how badly this is going to end up backfiring for the SEC and how it ended up completely blowing up in their face. I also want to show you guys a very interesting clip I found at the end of this video, and it has to do with Hester Peirce alluding to an upcoming settlement between Ripple and the SEC. There has been a ton of speculation on whether Ripple will go the distance in this case or it will be settled out. In this video, I'm going to show you guys what Hester Peirce said about a settlement, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Make sure you guys stick around for that. Like always, guys, if you are new to this channel or come here all the time, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It goes such a long way in helping to support this channel, and it means so much to me. If you guys are ever looking for a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out the link in the description below. With that said, though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. Now, guys, before I go into what I believe to be the SEC's main motive for bringing this case, I quickly want to talk about what caused my thinking to change. Now, the main reason for a shift in my own thinking on the motives of this case actually comes from my confidence in the SEC. And you might be thinking, Mickle, when did you ever have any confidence with the SEC? Well, I didn't have any confidence in the SEC in terms of why they were doing the things they were doing. I am fully convinced they are corrupt at their core. They make decisions based on money and all kinds of things like that. But I didn't expect them to be as stupid as they're turning out to be. I figured that because these are high-profile lawyers, because the fact that the SEC had so much time to think about how this case would go, I assumed that they would bring it in a much smarter manner. Even if the SEC is corrupt, they do bad things, they have Wall Street at their heart, it doesn't mean they're dumb people. Or so I thought. But what I am slowly learning as I'm watching this thing play out is that the SEC is impulsive, they do not think through their decisions, and maybe most importantly, extremely short-sighted. Now let me give you guys a very good example of this that I actually do not think there's a lot of debate around. And that is the fact that there's a huge turf war going on in government over which agency will get power over the cryptocurrency industry. We know that the CFTC and the SEC are the main two agencies that are likely going to take control of the cryptocurrency industry, and we have heard from a whole bunch of people that there is a turf war going on between these two agencies. Many high-level regulators who are willing to talk about the Ripple SEC case typically come out and say they believe the SEC's main motives on bringing this case was the fact that they are trying to use it to gain control over the cryptocurrency industry. Now, I think there is very little debate that the SEC wants control over the cryptocurrency industry. Of course they do, and they have made that very obvious. But one thing that doesn't make any sense is why would they pick the hardest fight they possibly could to perform this power grab? Ripple has more money than any cryptocurrency company out there. They have the best lawyers and multiple lawyers who used to work at the SEC. Ripple is stacked and likely the hardest cryptocurrency company the SEC could have chosen to go after to perform this power grab. It's like me telling you, hey, you can be NFL commissioner, but you have to beat one quarterback in a throwing competition. And then you coming back to me and say, okay, I picked Tom Brady. Why would you do that unless there was something else going on behind the scenes? Well, I do believe the SEC did want to perform a power grab. It was clearly not their only motive because they would have done so in a very different manner. There were slam dunk cases out there, such as a case against Ethereum, that would have held a lot more weight and given the SEC a much easier win than the one they're currently pursuing against Ripple. So now we have to ask ourselves, who is forcing the SEC's hand behind the scenes? And why are they doing so? Well, if we take a look at this tweet by Stephen Hubert, I think it's going to give us a lot of insight into what was going on behind the scenes and what was a large part of the SEC's decision making when they chose to go after Ripple. Stephen Hubert says, "You won't believe what I just found. JP Morgan, Alibaba, and Swift partnered in 2017 to revolutionize cross-border payments with Ethereum. And which law firm represents both of them? That's right, Simpson Thacher, the same law firm that Jay Clayton and William Hinman have been heavily tied to throughout this entire process. It has actually been proven that Jay Clayton and William Hinman were being paid by Simpson Thacher through the entire time they were working at the SEC. Well, what else do we know about Simpson Thacher? They are heavily involved in representing the Ethereum Alliance. So now we have Simpson Thacher working for the Ethereum Alliance, all while JP Morgan, Alibaba, and Swift were partnered to try to revolutionize cross-border payments. Who else is heavily involved in cross-border payments? Well, that's obviously a rhetorical question. It's Ripple. So now we see that not only did the SEC give a free pass to Ethereum when these people were working at the SEC, but they also launched a lawsuit against Ethereum's biggest competitor. All while these different organizations that Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton were working with were slowly adopting Ethereum behind the scenes. And if we take a look at this tweet by Linda, I think it's going to give us a lot of answers to why these organizations were choosing to work with Ethereum. She said, because JP Morgan was desperate to save itself and own and control the technology. The XRPL is decentralized and they hate it. They wanted to create their own version and keep the monopoly. And I tweeted in response to that, worded perfectly. This is exactly what happened. And what happened when they realized they could never compete on the technology because Ethereum is a broken blockchain? They tried to get the regulators to destroy the competition. It's honestly disgusting. So what do I think really went on here? Well, it looks like JP Morgan, Alibaba, and Swift are all terrified of the XRPL and Ripple because it decentralizes everything that they want to have control over. What they decided to do was they decided to use a private version of Ethereum to gain complete control over a centralized version of the blockchain and essentially get it a free pass and try to create a monopoly with Ethereum. They tried to make Ethereum the de facto blockchain so that they could keep their control, make it look decentralized, all while slamming the door on the XRPL. They tried to put this case against Ripple, tried to get XRP holders mad by dragging them into the lawsuit, and hoped that they would get a judge that would just blindly agree with them because they simply didn't understand blockchain to the degree they would need to make a real ruling. This would destroy their biggest competition, get rid of Ripple and the XRPL, give the SEC control over the entire industry with a landmark win, all while building their businesses on centralized versions of Ethereum while killing off Ethereum's biggest decentralized competitor. So where did the SEC fail miserably here, and where is it actually going to blow up in their face? Well, they actually just took this thing a step too far. They were really close to making this work. They did get Ethereum its free pass. It looked like the SEC blessed it, but they went a step too far when they went after Ripple. And why is this? Well, based on what people thought in the past, now it looks like they're trying to change their attitude, but it looked like Ethereum was good to go, and the SEC said it wasn't a security, even though that was completely arbitrary. On the other hand, XRP still wasn't given any clarity, and people were still unsure about its status. This means that even though the lawsuit never happened, companies in the US were still very scared to use XRP because the SEC had never made a definitive statement on this. This means that before this case even happened, the SEC really had already achieved their goal of stifling Ripple because XRP had no clarity. By bringing this case, they actually created a scenario in which XRP could get clarity. Because before, XRP was stuck in an internal purgatory. It could not get clarity unless Congress acted, and Congress wasn't doing jack. But now Ripple is actually put in a scenario where clarity can get achieved, and all they have to do is beat the SEC, and they are smacking them around right now. So this was a tactical flaw by the SEC. They took everything a step too far, and now it's blowing up in their face. Now XRP has potential to get clarity, that same clarity that the SEC was trying to destroy. They tried to make it so in no scenario could XRP ever have a status that Ethereum was given, and in the process, they are going to end up giving XRP a status that is above Ethereum. That is the exact opposite of what the SEC attempted to do with this case, and that is a tactical error of epic magnitudes that I did not expect the SEC to make. Last of all, I want to finish up by showing you this clip by Hester Peirce, because I honestly think she slipped up in this interview and told us something that she wasn't supposed to. I think she heavily alludes here that Ripple is going to settle with the SEC, and we are a lot closer to that than many people have anticipated. Listen up closely. I think this might blow your mind.
The way we've approached this space, and again, it goes back to needing to have public, transparent conversations as we try to figure out what the right regulatory approach is, rather than trying to take a one-off approach where maybe we craft a settlement with a particular entity that might work for that entity, but that will a settlement with a particular entity that might work for that entity, to take a one-off approach where maybe we craft a settlement with a particular entity that might.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, that sounds like it has Ripple's name written all over it. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. Like always, your support really does mean so much. Please consider liking and subscribing if you are still watching to this point. I hope everyone had a great weekend, and for now, Mickle out.